Hello everyone. Now I'm doing a video covering how needs hold us back. Okay? Needs, demands. I need this. I have to achieve this. I must get this. Okay? How that holds us back. I hear it all day long in one-to-one calls. And myself, when I first started on the journey, I noticed myself how I held so rigidly. I clung on to the need. I need this. I need that. I need to know this. I just need to be sure. I need to be certain. Okay, well, let's break this down. Now, if you have calls with me, what you'll hear many, many times is that I talk about the needs, the basic needs of survival. When I'm talking needs, I am talking to stay alive. And that's food, water, and shelter. Now, if you're in a very cold country, yes, warmth, clothing, but that also links into shelter. But without those things, you'd be dead. You'd be gone. You'd be forgotten about. Bye-bye. Now, everything else is a bonus. Everything else is a luxury. Everything else is a healthy desire, a preference, something that we want, something that we aim for, something that we would like to achieve. No matter how much you want to achieve it, it's still never a need, because needing means you die without it. It's the same when people say, Sam, I can't stand this. I just could not bear that. Well, you can, because you are here today talking to me, telling me you cannot stand it. Well, you clearly can, because you haven't yet exploded. You haven't erupted yet. You haven't just spontaneously combust. You haven't imploded. You haven't just erupted everywhere. Okay, now I'm not going to the extremes, but the point is that if you couldn't stand it, then you just wouldn't be able to, but you can. The thing that's very uncomfortable and very difficult to stand is the feeling. Yes, of course it is. It's not a nice feeling. Of course it's not, but you can stand it. Okay, so once we start viewing it like that, that's not to say you want these feelings. It's not to say you want. It's not to say you just deal with anything. It's not like you could just be, walked all over, that's fine. No, because, for example, if you have a healthy desire to have a good relationship, okay, that's not to say you do not raise issues. That's not to say you do not raise problems. You raise issues if the goal of the healthy relationship isn't working. But needing a good relationship, needing this, needing that, needing to know that person's right for you, well, you're not going to get that need. And especially with OCD, you're never going to know for sure. You're never going to be certain whether this person's right for you. Okay? So there's a big difference between needing and wanting. It's the same with acceptance isn't agreement. People say, yeah, but Sam, I don't want that. Well, I know you don't want that, but we have to go towards accepting, even if that was true. You're not liking it. You're not wanting it. It's not something that, it's not a desire of yours. Let's say when we look at people's worst case scenarios, it's not something that you want. You do not want your worst case scenario. But when you make peace with that, when you go towards that, you realize that people are living in your worst case scenario and have adapted, have adjusted, and who knows, maybe even enjoy or find things to be happy or things to be grateful for or things to learn from your worst case scenario. Okay, so let's go back to the original point. Now, what do we need? Okay, food, water, and shelter to stay alive. Anything else is a bonus. Anything else is a luxury. So, a relationship, that's a healthy preference, because relationships are good, but also there are pros and cons as well. You can be just as happy as you are single. I look back on my life and some of my most moments that I'm very happy of, or that I enjoyed the most, or felt the most connection, or felt the most present, or felt the most interactive was with other people. However, there are also moments by myself, watching a very good film, eating very good food by myself, reading a really good book, being at a sporting event, being at a music concert, exercising by myself. Okay? That's not to say, oh yeah, that's fine, I can just deal with not speaking to anyone again. Well, no. And it links into fear of rejection as well, being abandoned, things like that. Now, you don't want that. It wouldn't be nice. It would have its challenges. Of course it would. Of course it would have challenges, no one liking you, having no one else. But once you realise that it's just fear holding you back, and that you could accept, adjust, even like being alone, having no one. Okay? You strongly want a nice car. You might want a good career. You might want to be Happy I'll go on to happy, but that's also a moving target. I'll cover that one later. But you might want a nice house. You might want a good job or well-paid job. You might want to be really good at sport, okay? But you don't need to be. You do not just dissolve, evaporate if you are not. You only do that and you set yourself up for emotional turmoil and a host of emotional issues if you are saying, because I'm inferior at this, or because I am no good at this, or because I am inadequate, incompetent at this, that means I'm incompetent myself. Okay, so you're not just rating the thing, you are rating yourself as well. Okay, so it's a healthy goal. It's a healthy desire to be good at sport, or to be good at football, or to play a medical instrument, a musical instrument, or to write a book, or act, or whatever you want to do. They're healthy goals. But the main thing, you're not doing it from a stance of conditional acceptance. You're doing it because it's something that you want to do. It's something that you want to achieve. It's a big goal of yours. Okay? So then it's healthy. You're not then saying, if I fail, if I do not succeed, then I am bad. Then I am incompetent. Well, no, because you have failed at one thing. You haven't achieved one thing, one part of your life. Okay, same as a relationship. A relationship is part of your life. It's not your whole life. You can live, you can be happy, you can do many things that you enjoy even without a relationship, even without being successful. Okay, these are so important to remember. I hear it all day long. Yeah, but Sam, I just need to know. Well, why do you need to know? If I look at health OCD, I need to know if I have a serious disease. Well, of course, I want to know if I've got a serious disease so I can then deal with it. If I've got cancer, I would like to know as soon as possible so I can hopefully get it sorted and overcome it and keep living. But I also understand the realities of life and the hardships of life, that it could go undiagnosed, that I could, the doctor may not see it, or I make a mistake and not go to the doctors, or I didn't know there were no symptoms, or I took the risk anyway and it still turned out to be serious, a threatening illness such as cancer or anything else where it could affect my life. Okay, because, I'm talking from a point where I was at the doctor's every 2 minutes, right? Because, the doctor would give me an all clear, say, yep, Sam, you're all good. There's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. Okay? Oh, thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Next day, oh shit, I think I found something else. Oh shit, what as if when they were checking me, my arm was this way, or my head was this way, or, I was blocking the actual problem. I should replay these things over and over and over again. So if I go to the doctors again, oh yeah, I know I was here last week, but I just felt this new symptom. I felt like it's come back. I felt like it's got worse. Now, with that, I couldn't balance that. As an OCD sufferer, I could not balance that. That's not to say I'm never going to go to the doctors again, because I'm human. I will get ill. I will have problems. I will have health issues. I will have diseases. I could get cancer. I'm fully aware of that. And of course, I want to stop that. So it's healthy to stop that. But when we go, I need to know now, I need to know now, I need to know now, and OCD latches to that, we'll be at the doctors every 2 minutes. Okay? So it's such a fine line. It's such a fine line. It's like when people say, Sam, I need to know that I'm not a bad person. I need to know that I haven't done wrong. Well, good luck trying to find that out, because A, you could have done wrong because you're human, you're imperfect, you're infallible, you're capable of messing up, making a mistake, completely fucking up. You're capable of doing that. Now, that's not to say, you can regret something you've done. You can strongly condemn an act that you've done, of course, because that's healthy, because that then deters you from doing the bad thing again or acting immorally again. Yes, that's good. That's how humans evolve. That's how humans learn. But saying, Sam, I need to know. I need clarity. I need certainty. I just need to know for sure that I've done nothing wrong. Well, that is a futile pursuit with OCD, because, you're listening to a serial confessor, right? Someone who has suffered with relevant false memory OCD, spent years and years and years analysing, replaying, going over things over and over and over again, exhausting, painful, whatever word you want to use it, every day, every minute of every day was just constant rumination. From the minute I woke up, 5 seconds, and then boom, my brain would click into gear. I remember this 10 years ago. I remember this last night. I remember this a week ago. Right, that's what I used to do, and then boom, latch, not just for a day, for weeks, months, years, I had things latching for years looking back now. thinking, bloody hell, how did I not go over this? I felt so hopeless, in complete despair, totally helpless. How can I be stuck with this same thing for 4 years? I used to think things like that, because that was what I thought I was going to be stuck forever. But then, bit by bit, I looked at unconditional acceptance, obviously with the help of Rob and OCD recovery, reading the books on the reading list, or what we talk about now, and all the things that I teach now in one-to-one calls. It's what's helped me. I haven't just sat down and gone, oh yeah, that sounds tough, oh yeah, OCD sounds tough. No, when you've been there yourself, when you've been to rock bottom yourself, to the depths of hell, you know how that feels, where you're in that inescapable maze. Everything you do is just like a filter of guilt or filter of anxiety. Just feels like, what's the point? We've all been there. Nothing else matters. I talk about this every video because this is how it felt. It's like where the comparison that Rob uses is, I think this is amazing, is that it's like trying to relax in the bath and your house is being burgled, right? So yeah, try and relax knowing your house is being burgled. Like trying to relax and you've got a tiger staring at you, like watching you sleep, and you're trying to sleep. Like, could you imagine that? So that's what it's like. And the point is that you're on edge 24/7. It just felt like I just couldn't relax. So someone said, Sam, just take a chill pill, relax. Well, if only you knew what an OCD brain was like, where you go in 24/7, even when I was trying to distract myself. So let's say I was trying to exercise. Let's say I was trying to go out with friends, because I did try, although I was housebound many, many times, I also did try and distract myself as well, maybe go for a long walk. I love football, as you know. People who know me know I absolutely love my football. So I still try and go to that. But even then, it was like maybe a minute of relief. And then boom, like, oh my God. And I used to ramp up around times like that, especially at football and, holidays, spending time with partner. Anything I tried to do to distract myself just felt like it didn't work. So imagine how hopeless I felt with that. That anything that I tried to do for some relief didn't even work in that regard. So anyway, I've gone way off topic. I'm going back to the needs and the difference between a need and a desire. Desires are good. They're healthy preferences. They're flexible, because if you don't get what you want, you try and go, right, what can I change? What's the problem? What's stopping me getting what I want? And how do I get to that? The need, when you say, I need this, I must have this, I got to get this, I cannot live without this, you are stating that there is some universal automatic law that because I need this, I get this. Well, no, because you do not get what you want, right? Some people get what they want, and you will get what you want at times, but not all the time. There'll be many things that you want and you'll never get, and many things that you have and you didn't even want, but that's just how life works. So being healthy, less black and white, being a flexible way of looking at things, and not coming from the standpoint that I need this in order for me to be happy. I need this in order for me to accept myself. I need your approval. I need your respect. I need your liking. I need you watching this video now. I need you to like me. No, even your coach doesn't even have to like you. Even your therapist doesn't even have to like you. Even your friend, even your parents, even the president, even the prime minister, whatever. They don't have to like you, okay? You want them to, but they never need to, okay? Needing. You do not die without these things. It's not to say you do not want these things. It's not to say that there wouldn't be challenges, there wouldn't be difficulties about these things. Of course there would. If no one liked you, it would be very, very difficult. If you were the most hated person on the planet, there of course would be many, 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 many challenges. You're not saying that. But you see that needing for everyone else's liking, everyone else's respect, is what's holding you back. Okay, so then you become a people pleaser. Then you spend your whole life chasing people's approval. You try and get their approval, and then the problem with that, once you get their approval, you then try and maintain their approval. You then try and sustain their approval. You then try and keep their approval. So you spend your whole life trying to keep that person happy, or so they like you, or so they accept you, or so they respect you, or so they just want you in their life. But then the thing that you forget about is yourself. So rather than doing things that you want to do, you spend your whole life doing things that they want you to do. You spend your whole life doing things that Joe Bloggs wants you to do, and not what you want to do yourself. Now, that's not to say you do not care what people think. That's not to say you just do whatever you want to do and don't give a shit about what anyone else does. No, because we are social interactive creatures. if you go back hundreds of years in cavemen, you'd see how we sort of herd in packs, and we tend to go towards each other because we communicate, and we tend to get on, and we try and find ways to get on. Of course, if you look at many situations where maybe like in very harsh circumstances, I remember I'm reading this book currently now called Silka's Journey, and they're all traveling to sort of this concentration camp, and then people knew each other, but then they become very good friends because of the situation, and they just thought, if we get on, we might as well at least try and speak, and then they become very good friends, and just things like that. So even in the most difficult circumstances, humans will try and interact and maybe get an insight onto a different perspective, or just ask questions, because that's what we naturally do. But the point being isn't to think, right, I need no one. I don't want anyone in my life, and I'm not going to care for anyone things. No, because I love socialising. I love spending time with my partner. I love having friends. But what I'm saying is, with OCD, when we've got the fear of rejection, when we've got that need in other people's in our life, you just become chasing and chasing and chasing. You forget about yourself. You forget about things you do. You forget about doing things that you want to do. You forget about yourself. Let's say, for example, you want to go to a museum, but your best friends don't want to go to a museum. They want to go to a pub all day, or they want to go to a football match all day. It's okay. I want to go to this museum, so I'm going to go to this. And not then changing your plans or rating yourself based on what they then think of you. They might not like your decision, but then you go, okay, I appreciate you don't like my decision, but I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. That's not to say you don't care and don't interact with anyone. No, I'm not saying that. That's the often misconception with acceptance and putting yourself first. Because if you look at happiness does involve selfishness. Not to be totally selfish and only care about yourself, but it does involve selfishness. Because I look at many things back in my life, and I see where I've done things that I don't want to do. I've spent time, or gone to places I didn't want to be at, gone to events I don't want to be at. Now, of course, I adapt and I adjust, and I maybe I try and find, or try and be happy, or try and enjoy the moment as much as I can. But looking back now, that was from a stance of people pleasing, because I didn't want to let people down. I didn't want to say no to people. I didn't want to disappoint people. Now, I'm also not saying no to everyone. I'm not being a total recluse and just sat here having no one to speak to. No, because I love interaction. I love that as well. I love spending time with other people, of course. But it's such a fine balance. Okay. I used to say sorry just for existing. I used to apologise just for existing. Please, thank you excessively, because I was so scared of someone rejecting me. I was so scared of someone not liking me. But even going back in my younger years, I used to ask people, messaging people on Facebook and people at school saying, do you still like me? Do you still like me? Like, very sort of insecure, very needy, because I felt like I just couldn't cope without their approval, without their liking. I just felt like the world would fall apart, which is utterly crazy, but that's just how we think. And with OCD, it's ramped up, it's jacked up on steroids. And we're absolutely terrified of someone reacting badly to us. We're absolutely terrified of someone's judgment. We are terrified of someone's negative opinion of us. We are absolutely terrified of that. And once you see that fear is an illusion, okay, we have to put ourselves first, and we have to see that I desire for this, I have a preference for this, I strive for this, this is something that I want, but I never need. I want a good career, but I never need one. I want a nice car, I want a fast car, but I can survive without one. I would like a relationship, but if that person split up with me, then it would be sad, I'd be upset, I'd maybe regret that, but I do not need that relationship for me to survive, to live, to be happy, to enjoy, okay? That's not to say you wouldn't care about not getting a relationship again. Of course you would want that. If that's something that you want, then you'd strive to get into a relationship again. But as soon as you say, I need one, you'll spend the whole time very upset, very negative, very, downing yourself, completely depressed, because you'd be like, oh, it's the worst thing ever not being in a relationship. So I'm going to leave it there, because I think you understand the point I'm making. Before I go off, I could talk all day, but I think I've covered enough. If you have liked this video, please leave a like. And if you're interested in our one-to-one services, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. And after the end of this video, there'll be a little screen that comes up, and you can use the WhatsApp number as well. You can get in contact with us, one of our coaches here. We can book you in for one-to-one calls and see where your rational thinking is playing such a huge part in your OCD suffering. Anyway, you take care, and we'll speak again. Bye-bye.